And when I feel warm, I say we are learning how to love. And when I feel cold, I say things will get better. And this is probably good for me. And when I feel hot, I say this is it. How could life ever get any better? And yet you see I'm still saying the same thing, only expressing it in different ways. Different colors all springing from white. Hot and cold are only extremes of the same thing, warm. And warm is only a condensation of the extremes, hot and cold. Like developing pictures, the light makes a dark picture on the negative, and the dark picture on the negative makes a light picture on the positive. The light makes the dark, and the dark makes the light, and we have a picture both before and after. We've only transposed it, moved it in time. And that in fact is what creates the concept of time, that the picture has moved. Isn't it all such a perfect unity? God, I see it in everything, like the focal point in a lens. It all contracts into a little ball and disappears, and then expands into a big ball and disappears, and it's getting so I can't tell the big ball from the little one anymore. They all disappear into themselves, and yup, I'm still chasing beauty. Beauty is feeling the truth. Truth as an entity, I'm representing as an unattached understanding. A cold intellectual gleam that illuminates only itself. That knows without showing, and beauty being when it shows without knowing. And God when it shows, and knows without glowing, and love when it's showing, and knowing, and glowing. There, does it make sense? Aren't definitions a drag? Poetry is better. It leaves more room for the creative force. My Aries brain tempts me to do everything mentally. It louses up my music when I want to play from another level. When I feel at my best, I can't play everything with my brain to feel like I'm living. Right now I feel at my worst. I'm writing you a Mel Lyman when he's tired letter of mental trips and intellectual observations. We men of science must be very objective in our reporting. We must always separate fact from fantasy, appearance and illusion from actual existence. This is the way it is, and not cause I say so, but because objective observation has proved it to be so. We use nothing but machines here, I say. People can't be trusted. Too emotionally involved. Too much selfish attachment. But you know, it always amuses me that we build our machines exactly to the best of our ability, in replicas of our own God-given machines, and the only difference in the ones we build and the ones we are is the ones we build don't work as well. I've sure been digging this in cameras. I've been reading some science lately to find out what they call living. I've gained the respect I was lacking for them. I find that every kind of man can be called a scientist, just like everything else. I've even found some artists who are called scientists, and I call them artists because I have my definition of art, and whoever fits into it is an artist to me. And by God, I'm right, and if nobody agrees with me, it's because they're too damn stupid. An artist paints pictures, we all know that, and a musician plays the piano. And now I'm being cute. Just who the hell is writing this anyhow? He keeps changing personalities. And do you know the constant? That's the man to see. The constant is the cat behind all this who keeps passing judgment. He says, oh, so you're Mel Lyman and these are your colors, eh? Groove on, old man, and call me if you need help, and Big Brother is watching you. I have a nice constant. He's like a daddy to me. He used to spank me when I was naughty, but I ain't naughty anymore. Sometimes, just to see if he's still there, I cut a little caper, but by God, he always shows up. Can't seem to hide from him. And wasn't it I who said, there ain't no place to hide if it comes from inside? And now he screams braggart. She knows you wrote that line, and it ain't so hot anyhow. You know, this is what junkies try to escape. This voice of conscience. They're the most extreme examples I can't think of right now. And my constant whispers, my what a mental letter. Do you think all I've given you to experience life with is a brain? And I shout back, but I dig my brain, daddy, and I just got it last Christmas. And he answers, then dig it, baby. Slowly, steadily, I am losing ground. All my life I've been resisting, and now the enemy can no longer be held back. He's penetrated and undermined my final position. I am being forced to surrender, and the enemy attacks from within. He eats flesh. I cannot escape his all-consuming hunger. I am being devoured alive, and my very deepest marrow of strength has been greedily sucked dry. I am giving myself up to these surging cosmic forces that have been welling up inside of me since the beginning of time, and my identity has become nothing more than a fading, screaming little voice shouting, stop. I'm drowning in an infinite ocean. A swelling, swirling myriad of motion, a living, breathing sea of everything man has ever dreamed of or perceived with the tautest stretch of the imagination. Nothing. Hold still, I'm afraid to move, I can't get my bearings, I may be dead. I'm almost sure I've become invisible. I've lost all hope, I've lost. I sadly recall the noble ambitions of my youth. The barren plains I would nourish, the lofty mountains I would conquer. I was the proud possessor of the cosmic pulse. I had in my own hand a power known to none but the greatest, and with that power I would return to a thirsting world of men all that it longed for. I would radiate from my being the scintillating life, bringing bountiful gift of love into a desolate waste of barren earth, and call it to bring forth fruit. Administer the force, and watch my land thrive, swell with pregnant promise, and burst into a shimmering rainbow of fulfillment and ecstasy. And look at me now, a shrinking, squirming, scaggy old man with a belly full of worms, groping futilely for a fleeting dream with the defeated, despondent collapse of an empty hand, a hand that reached for the world, and fell heavy and cold back on a shriveled and disheartened old shell of a breast that embraced the universe, now vacant, hollow, crumbling into dust. Oh, it's a sad story, the death and defeat of a hero, the man we entrusted with our last remaining hopes, our only chance forsaken, perishing before our smarting, straining eyes, glued to the bending, broken form of an old warrior, wheezing away his final strangled breath, lying crushed and defeated in a putrid pool of stagnant blood, taking with him all that we longed for, our last mighty cry. Into the black void, staggering, stumbling, tumbling back to earth to smother us with its poisonous, suffocating hopelessness. We have lost. I painfully croak, and even my last weak and weary little word falls back meaningless into my face, and dies there. It's growing darker now. I can't even perceive of my own wretchedness. Black empty nothingness has curtained my feeble glimpse of the light which has ceased to shine. I can no longer see the world I love. I'm slipping into a sightless, soundless, murky pit, and I'm afraid it has all been a dream. Progress report number 2073. Before I begin to express myself, let me assure you that I know absolutely nothing about anything. That as far as facts and reasons and reality are concerned, I am an utter fool living entirely in my own foolishly projected vision of myself. And I write not to tell you anything about something, not to enlighten you, not to save the world, but solely because I love you and I love to write to you. Capital I. Think, though I really have no way of knowing, that I am getting closer and closer to myself, that I am being more honest with myself, that I am not trying to impress you and communicate anything to you for selfish reasons, but only to reveal myself as I feel I am the moment at which I write down each word. I have accepted all my faults, and since I have acknowledged my littleness to me, I am not ashamed to show them to you. No more deodorants. This is me. I stink. I am sitting at a card table in an attic room in a big 2-story house in the middle of the woods near West Tisbury on Martha's Vineyard Island off the coast of Woods Hole in the Atlantic Ocean. For reference only, and have been writing with a typewriter for so long I've almost forgotten how to print. Life is a mystery, and I'm trying to solve it, though I know from the front I will never succeed because I already have by living. I am more anxious than ever to communicate, and I have no idea as to what I want to communicate because to me there is really nothing to communicate but to communicate. I am leaving the jug band because the jug band was my vehicle, my body. And it's dying, and I refuse to die just because my body is dying because I want to communicate. My reasons are all reasons and no reasons, whichever ones will communicate. I am impartial and open to suggestions. I cannot prove or disprove, and may appear to contradict every statement by the next statement, but I place no trust in appearance but seek only more and more order and express more and more chaos, having faith in both and neither. I want to be free, but there is nothing to free myself from except wanting to be free, which of course I already am. Freedom lies in recognizing freedom as order lies in recognizing order, and recognition lies in acceptance, and acceptance is an act of will of which I have little, but I won't accept this recognition of freedom until I am free to do so, which I won't be until I have learned to accept it. What is it? It is the center. The center. Of what? Go away, brain. Your order is like pulling down a black shade over a beautiful landscape, and then proving the landscape is real by trying to paint it on the shade. I have learned to paint landscapes on black shades. I have learned the futility in proving by reason. I want to investigate the real trumpet blast landscape only to discover that it also is painted on a black shade. I anxiously seek the next illusion. I want more and more. I am beyond disillusion, beyond irony, beyond diabolicalism, beyond cynicism, beyond disbelief, beyond belief, beyond faith, hope, and charity, beyond knowing. I just want more, more unknown. What if already learned if forgotten? I forgot by becoming it. I want to learn more so I can't forget it and become it. Perpetual becoming. Perpetual wonder. And this beautiful chasing my own tail is called my life. A miracle. That's what it is. It's a miracle that it's such a miracle.